All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the first edition of Scott E Talks. I'm here with Xavi talking Dragon Gate. Very excited to talk Dragon Gate with you. It's been, we've talked about it for a while now, and we decided upon waiting for King of Gate to complete. And now
Yep.
that it is completed, and now that we are on the road to Kobe World, how are you feeling about Dragon Gate overall right now?
Uh, right now it's an interesting time in Dragon Gate. Of course, recently hit with a bunch of retirements, and it's like getting much to the realization that the era of Dragon Gate that was known so well and what helped put it on the map is starting to dim down, and it's really about to be an entirely new landscape within Dragon Gate here in a couple
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
And that's a scary situation, especially like first losing Yoshino, then Kness after. She says he's technically can still work Dragon Gate, but he left the company to freelance. Gama's retiring. Just so many different retirements. Of course, I guess I'll mention this now because it's very recent because it happened this morning. Well, first, Shoya Sato, who was a part of the class of 2021, he retired a few weeks ago. He had been having back issues, and he was the oldest rookie because he was 29. He's a former school teacher, and he wanted to try pro wrestling, and he ended up getting injured, and he just couldn't continue. And then today, Ricky Ihashi, Ishin Ihashi's brother, he made the decision to retire from wrestling and refuse a retirement ceremony, which is tough because uh, the Ihashi brothers were two that I was banking on to be one of the pillars that helped the Twin Gate division going forward. But
yeah.
uh, Ricky got hurt, and I'm assuming that's where he came through his decision. But Ishin's going to be around still, so it sucks to see that two out of the six that made it, because that 2021 class is probably one of the best rookie classes I've seen in any company in a long time.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the class of 2021 were the Ihashi brothers. They are Japan's first ever thoroughbred pro wrestlers. Both mom and dad are wrestlers. Their dad is Koshin Ishinriki, and their mother is Utaka Hozumi, who had a Juliana character in, I think it was LLPW. Um, Takuma Hayakawa, who is now Minorita in Gold Class, who's just been a highlight for Dragon Gate since he's
Right.
went over to this Minorita character. So Takuma Fujiwara, who's a super rookie, and we're going to talk about him later, so I'm not going to get
Yeah.
much into him. And then of course Shoya Sato and fuck, who's the other one? Oh, Ryu Fuda. I don't know where the fuck Fuda is. He might be hurt, but I haven't seen him in a couple shows, so it's probably hurt. I mean, everybody's getting hurt in wrestling these days.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's
off of that,
never ending.
yeah, off of that little tangent, right now it's in a really interesting time, and I voiced my displeasure with Dragon Gate post Kobe World last year. I was very very frustrated with the direction of the company.
Mm,
Really, I mean, although Kobe World, I think both nights were hits, but uh, them skipping the KZ run to do the Yamato run, I was just livid and so against it. You
yeah,
know, people reason like they probably want, with Yoshino gone, they wanted on Yamato for stability. Understand that, but it was just whatever. Just wasn't interested in it. Not saying he didn't try his best with what he did in the ring, because he did. I enjoyed the Minoru match. I thought him and Hulk did some good stuff, and I enjoyed the match where he lost, but it just wasn't for me. And just
yeah,
everything around the company just wasn't interesting, except this one glimmer of hope of a feud, which was Masquerade versus RAD, more specifically Dragon Dia versus Dia Inferno, and Shin Skywalker versus Diamante,
mm,
which culminated in December with a double mask versus mask match where Dragon Dia lost his mask, which I think that was the turning point for Dragon Gate to kick it
yeah,
into the next gear. I think that's when Jay says it all the time on commentary, and I think he's like so accurate. That's when the landscape of Dragon Gate changed forever.
mhm,
Uh, because Dragon Dia was the self-appointed heir to the Dragon legacy from Dragon Kid. He's his pupil, so he was the one that probably least expected to lose his mask. Well, no, it was probably Diamante because he's Ultimo's boy, but
right,
he was probably one of the ones you're like, no way. It just seemed like, because we knew Inferno was Yoshioka, although we didn't know it was kind of apparent, and they kind of had Dia say he knew it was Yoshioka on the way there. So it's like, well, since they said it, they'll probably just do it. And then what wasn't expected was not only him losing the mask, but the huge like double turn with Yoshioka and Shun later down the line. Masquerade falling apart because when they only were around for about a year, it seemed like they were gonna lead Dragon Gate into the future. But of course,
Yeah.
Minoru had that KOG run, and they wanted to capitalize on him quick, which I'm all for. But that really changed the course for me. And going into the new year, Dai came back. He won Brave Gate. Him and Yoshioka won Twin Gate right off the bat. Kai won the Dream Gate Championship, and it's just been interesting. A nice change of pace with Kai as
Mhm.
champion. It's just really interesting right now. Like I said, it's definitely my favorite company going right now. Although them and Grade are kind of neck and neck, I just think that it's hard for me to really even put a company up beside as far as there's obviously companies that are bigger than them because they're not very big. They don't have the financial backing as other companies, and they don't have the star power most other companies have. But it's hard for me personally to find any other company right now that's just putting out the kind of stuff that Dragon Gate's doing right now. I think they've been untouchable this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year I've really embraced watching it. Last year, I
Hmm.
saw the at least the two main events from Kobe World. I think I saw the cage match too. Was that also? That was one of the main
Oh
events,
yeah,
right?
that's when SBK got shaved.
Yeah, yeah. So I watched that as well. But the match that really clicked for me in wanting to, continue watching Dragon Gate was that Shun KZ match. I just thought it
Hmm.
was phenomenal. And, I hadn't seen KZ. I didn't know his full story until really after that, but it was so easy to bite on every fall and really just hope and get into it. And I think that's a credit to him and how good he is as a wrestler. But then you brought up
He's special.
Masquerade. Yeah,
Hmm.
he is. And you brought up Masquerade, and like that was the group that I was like, yeah, these guys are awesome. And then they broke up immediately that I started, watching, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is great.
yeah,
But it's been cool to watch where they've all went, right? Where
yeah,
they've all
yeah.
extended
The
to.
the thing is with me, I was kind of
You're used
hoping
to
they'd
it.
stick together because I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna lead into the future. But the thing
Right.
is, for Dragon Gate's future, I thought it was probably best for them to all split because seeing where none of them stuck together, they all went their own paths, and the
Yeah.
paths they've chosen have all been right for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I love where they've all went, and I love the work that they're doing now in their new video. I mean, Dragon Dia has been, phenomenal. I think
Yes,
he's
he's
made
he's
fan.
gonna he's gonna lead the Brave Gate division for years and years to come. He
Yeah,
probably won't
you
get to
said
that
he's
Dream Gate.
Dragon Gate's Dragon Kid's like heir apparent, right?
Yeah, he's the heir apparent to Dragon Kid. Yeah, I don't. He might get a Dream Gate run. I don't know. I don't think he probably won't because although height doesn't really matter in Dragon Gate, with the
Yeah,
Dream Gate, that Dream Gate's like only if like it's like really treated like a world title. Like
right.
for a while there was only a few people that would hold it, and now it's just been like first. Now recently we're getting into the first time champions.
Mhm.
Like when Ben K really had the mold after he beat Pac, and then Ida, and well, Ben K lost it to I think he lost it to Yoshino. I want to say no, he lost it to Doi. Lost it to Doi. Uh, Doi then in turn lost it to Ita, and then Ita lost it to Shun. Shun lost it to Yamato. Yamato lost it to Kai. So it's really getting into the era where like more people are winning the Dream Gate, but
Yeah.
still like while height doesn't matter, it kind of does. Like Jay said, if SB Kento was just a little bit taller, he'd probably already be Dream Gate champion right now.
hmm That's that's so interesting to me because you as someone that's just watching as a general viewer, not I don't know the
Hmm.
history or anything. It just does seem like it's the company where that doesn't matter. But hearing you kind of explain it and say who the champions are and how SB Kento would be champion had he been, a few inches taller, it just kind of makes me think
Yeah.
of
Oh,
how crazy it
he'll
is, but also how talented they are,
yeah,
anyways.
he'll still win the title. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen. It's just if he had that little height, like say Minoru or Shin has, he probably would be
right.
already bypassed the Brave division and already onto the Dream Gate.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that kind of brings us into the conversation of King of Gate and really
Hmm.
how they executed what I thought was the best tournament of the year so far in wrestling.
Yeah,
As someone
fuck
that's
them for
watched,
busting all my brackets. Fuck them,
yeah,
but that's
they
fine.
busted I think everyone's bracket on day one.
To be
Let
fair,
alone you
to
did
be
good on day
fair,
one, right?
yeah, I did very good on day one. To be fair, like my top four picks were KZ, SBK, who fucking got knocked out round one, fucking hell. Minoura, who ended up eventually making the final, although he wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to. You got lucky there. And I had Yoshioka as the one who I said, all right, if somebody else out of left field is gonna win, it's gonna be this dude. So I was on the ball. I was on the
yeah,
ball.
you
So
were on
yeah.
the ball. So I think the best way to go about it is just kind of talking that round one and so on. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
mean
sure.
that first, was it the first day? Yeah,
Yeah,
the
first day
first
was in
day.
Corkin. I
Yeah,
think the
with
first
Yoshi.
day, other than the final, might have been my favorite day of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk, Ida versus Shun or Kento losing to Kikuta kind of out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Um,
That
and
was big.
I think Kai versus Kondo actually wasn't as shocking as it was supposed to be, in a
The
way, because
39
I
seconds is what's shocking.
right,
I don't think it was
right,
a shock that Kondo was going to win.
right.
People who had Kai beating him, I was like, I don't know why. I was like, Kondo's going to get
Yeah,
a good run.
he did. He almost got there.
Hmm.
And then, of course, Yoshioka beating Yamato in what I thought was
Hmm.
the best match up until the final match of the first round.
Yeah,
But
I agree with that.
I
Hmm.
thought that match was, tremendous. It kind of, at least for me, as someone that, again, still new to it all, it was like a star. It was kind of like a star making performance just as a first
Hmm.
time viewer for Yoshioka for me, because I know who Yamato is. He won the title last year at Kobe World. He's the guy, and he just had this fantastic match with Yoshioka that Yoshioka walks away with. The crowd was hot for it. It was everything that you kind of
Yeah.
want in a first round matchup, even though it wasn't the best one, because you got that even better, I think, later in the first round. But was it there that you were like, okay, so this is, you knew Yamato wasn't winning, but
No.
was it there once Yoshioka won that you're like, okay, here we go?
Whenever Yoshioka beat Yamato, because Yamato was like my biggest worry, because
Yeah,
Yamato's a world class wrestler and he
right.
will put over young talent, but it's just a 50-50 with Yamato because
Yeah.
it's usually LOL Yamato wins. But
There's always one. There's always one.
yeah. Uh, but whenever Yoshioka got out that first round, I was taking a look at his bracket. I was like, he's at the very least getting to the final four.
Right. Yeah, because
Because
after
from
Yamato, it
there,
wasn't.
he had the winner of not KZ, UT versus Kagatora, and he would definitely beat whoever that would be. Although UT's pushed pretty hard, he's not like a Dreamgate level wrestler.
Yeah.
In Kagatora, he can lose to anybody really. And then after that was Diamante. I figured they would give him that one to avenge the Twin Gate loss. But then when
Mhm.
it got to the Final Four, that's where I was kind of like, I don't know once he gets there, but I think he'll at least get there to kind of establish, hey, he's still here too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I think
when D Courage got together, they were Twin Gate champions, but Spotlight was all on Dragon Dia.
it was.
He's double champion. Yoshioka's assisting him to the ring for all his singles title defenses, and it was really special whenever they did lose the titles that Yoshioka didn't get pinned, because technically he still hasn't gotten pinned since coming back and as himself
Right.
in January. Uh, and they didn't lose for like until that title defense actually. So uh, it was nice because it didn't kill Yoshioka's momentum, because that was the one thing that I kind of didn't like about D Courage at first, was that everything was on Dragon Dia and Yoshioka was kind of along for the ride, and I kind of
Mhm.
wanted them to be on equal footing so you can elevate two guys at once. But luckily, all that got rectified.
Right. Right. And I guess now that Yoshioka, we know where he went ultimately in
Hmm.
the end. but what first round matchup for you was like really like in terms of the upsets?
Really.
There was a lot of them, to be fair, throughout the entire tournament. So
Yeah. As far as like, honestly, I don't know. Like as far as like mind-boggling,
yeah,
probably Ida and Shun.
mm,
I thought this was going to be the summer of Ida, and Ida was going to make his ascension back into the main event scene.
yeah,
But of course, Ida's a busy man. He's got to try to save this busted Noah Junior division while also being a mainstay in Dragon Gate. It's a tough ask, but
yeah,
if anybody can do it, it's him. Um, I think that was the only real one where I was just like, "Are you serious?" Because like
yeah,
every other one, even the shocks that happened, I was just like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
right,
I have no problem with that." Uh, a lot of people were shocked that I mean, I guess I was shocked that the rookies went to a draw. I figured like one, like Ishin and Fujiwara. I
I
figured one of
really
them would
liked that one.
advance. Yeah, I did too. I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
Ishin's real good.
he is.
He doesn't get as much praise as the other class of 2021 guys, but Ishin's a monster. He's now that he's a singles guy going forward, he's going to be someone I'm keeping my eye on. He's going to be special.
Mm,
Um, and I kind of didn't expect Daya and Hio to do the double count out. I had Hio going over Daya because I think that Hio is getting one of the Kobe World Brave Gate title matches, but I didn't think they'd both get knocked out. But
mm,
when Hio, when it happened, he had main evented a Noah show the day before against Daisuke Harada, and Hio kind of like tooted his own horn afterwards. He was just like, "Hey, I main evented this Noah show yesterday. I main evented this show today, so I'm Mr. Main Event Hio." And he was like, "Although you may think I lost because I'm eliminated, Dragon Dia
right.
lost, so I won." And then he kind of ended off on a high horse.
Yeah, yeah. I watching that one go to the in the end, a double elimination. I was stunned too because of the momentum that Daya had going into this
Oh yeah.
tournament, obviously.
Even just dead
And
or alive in general, because he had the
right,
both the Twin
he had
Gate
the
and the Brave Gate
hell of a
matches.
showing. Yeah, which was just like
Hmm.
one of the better two match nights I've seen from a wrestler. Just
Hmm.
fantastic performances. And like you said, Hio winning automatically, gives him that title shot. And you kind
Yeah.
of saw that one coming, but taking both of them out was like, oh, all right. Uh, and I remember
Yeah.
watching that because I expected a little bit more, obviously, from the match. But when you're doing a double elimination like that,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, well, you can only do so much. So it's saving, right? It's saving
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
match for that bigger stage, which is perfectly fine with me. That's a smart move. But it was shocking,
Yeah.
as just someone watching.
Yeah. And a lot of the double eliminations that happened shocked me, but also it made the tournament shorter, which I liked.
It did.
I'm not a fan of long tournaments. That's why I despise most round robin tournaments, because
They're
I
all
think
long.
that round robin tournaments they kill companies because they're wasting all their big singles matches
Mhm.
like just to do them in this big 20-person tournament. You're just wasting all big matches. So any match you do from now on is just going to be a rerun of these matches you've already done.
Yeah, I liked the change up that King of Gate went with doing the
Yeah,
bracket.
they
I
had
thought that
the
was really
three
cool.
blocks last year. They had the three blocks of I think it was five last year, and then they
Yeah.
went to the 32-man single elimination. And they've done single elimination before, but I don't know why they went back to this one. But I like this format a lot more because it truly gives everybody a chance to possibly get to Kobe World. And even if
Right.
there's people like they're not going to get there, but it's nice to be like, okay, everybody has a chance to do so. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, and the single elimination, you get those surprises, which is always so welcome. And I think, comparably to other single elimination tournaments, this probably was among the best in terms of having those surprises and having those shocks. I mean, the only one I can compare it to that had that type of situation was probably Stardom Cinderella tournament, because you had Koguma in the final, which obviously
Oh
was
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. And Mirai, I mean, was
Real
a
fucked up.
surprise. It's by some, others not so much. But you get the point of, like, you had surprises. I'm
Yeah,
not going to compare it to
yeah.
New Japan Cup, because you had Okada, Naito. Obviously Naito was kind of a surprise because he just had that match with Okada the month before, but at the same time it's like,
Well,
okay, well,
New
these
Japan
guys,
Cup. I mean, it was Naito and Zach, and they
yeah,
kind of been saving that since Naito got hurt, so it wasn't really shocking.
right, exactly. There was little shock to it, so like that's why I think I really like this tournament. But let's talk about the big match of the first round.
Hmm.
That I think it was the first match I've ever watched live of Dragon Gate, and I'm happy I did because it was
It's my
phenomenal.
second best match I've seen all year. Like I said,
And your
it's
first,
only second. It's only second to the Nomads main event with Arena and Maya Yuki
yeah,
versus
that
Ryota
shit
Mizunami and
rules.
Miyuki Takase.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
match is phenomenal.
the atmosphere in that one, it was just unfair though because they allowed cheering and Shinjuku's a small area, so the
Yeah,
energy in the building was just too much. But as far as like from the male side of things, I don't think anything comes close to this.
yeah. I mean, KZ and Coda go out there, and the automatically the drama, right, of
Hmm.
KZ, and everyone wants him to win. Everyone wants him to win. Everyone wants him to move on. Anyone that doesn't is crazy. And
You also got to remember that in the first round, they changed time limits with each round of King of Gate.
right,
So the first round's
it was
15
15,
minutes,
right?
and if they go to a draw, it's
They're both
15 in
out.
the first round. If it goes to a draw, they're both out. And last year, the KOG final they had went over 20. So immediately you're just kind
Right.
of like, okay, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and when I first saw this match, I was like, okay, well, I feel like there is a very good chance whoever wins is the winner here. So that only
Yeah,
enhances
that
it
was my
too.
immediate thought.
Obviously, we were wrong, but in some ways, we were almost right because of accidents that happened along the way.
Yeah.
But watching this match, it from the opening bell, it was just fantastic, and
Hmm.
I think anyone that wants to, understand and really get why Dragon Gate is so good should watch this match. Really, because you get a little bit of everything, I
I.
think. You get that emotion, that drama,
Mhm.
that excitement, and also just great professional wrestling.
Hmm. Uh, I'm gonna put a little praise on KZ for a second because, of course, we're gonna talk about Coda again
All
later on.
day.
So
All
yeah,
day.
we're gonna talk about him again. So I want to save his praise so we'll get to that point because it's more fitting for that point. But KZ is special. What I mean, like, I don't think there's a comparison in American wrestling or any other company in Japan I can really make. I mean, maybe the best comparison possibly could be I want to say Naito just because he's got such a cult following that any match
Yeah.
he's in, you're automatically
Right.
paying attention. But the difference, what I think with KZ and Naito is I think when both are in matches, no matter what the match is, it's already elevated to a different level. It's a big match. But I think the difference is KZ doesn't have an off switch. House
Right.
shows, um, non-televised shows, he just doesn't have an off
Yeah.
switch. He's
He
giving
doesn't have a T-shirt
110% every single
era.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a t-shirt era. He's just on he's got pedal to the metal every time. And
Right.
I think that's what makes him special. Like I said, I don't think there's any wrestler in the world like him. Like you can probably find wrestlers that may be better overall as him, but to me, I think he's the best in the world just for that fact that the consistency of always being great, no matter what type of situation he's in, just puts him into an echelon that's like hard to break into.
Yeah, and you brought up how the clock's ticking down, so
Hmm.
that intensity that he has is spiked a little bit, right? Because it's like, okay,
Yes.
now we're nearing closer and closer to him and Coda being eliminated, or you have
Yeah,
obviously you
and
have a bunch of great near falls in there too.
Yeah,
Continue.
every time he starts to get forward, Coda takes over, and then the
Hmm.
pressure is on because Coda's now on
Yeah.
top and the clock's ticking down. Uh,
Yeah.
then I think KZ adding all these elbows and uppercuts to his arsenal have just been great ads because he can just pull them
Hmm.
out at any time and it's already match enders.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and in the end, not really a spoiler to anyone if you've been paying attention, because the tournament's over,
Tournament
so I don't
been
feel
over for
bad.
like a week, so I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
exactly. KZ wins, and that's the win. That's like, okay, now it's time. Right now, we're on that
yeah,
ride to the final. Just a
yeah.
fantastic match of the tournament for me, match of the tournament for you, clearly, because you
Hmm.
just said, it's number two behind that Nomads main event, which
Hmm.
again, phenomenal. And now, we're on to the next rounds, and the next rounds are on the house shows, so we're not gonna touch on those super, but were there any matches from those house shows that you'd kind of recommend people go out and check out, since they're all on YouTube?
I don't encourage anybody to watch K Scale Kuda matches. However, um,
Yeah.
for the first round at least, because there's a few house show matches in the other rounds, of course. But
Yeah.
in the first round at least, him versus Mondar Yu is really good. Manchan is he hasn't been in the like main circulation of the thick of things in Dragon Gate for a while. He's usually just here and there, but he's been working a lot more shows recently,
Hmm.
and he's just been excellent. He's really motivated for whatever reason. So, but it's fine. I love Manchan, and I think him and Okuda did really well, surprisingly. Uh, other than that, I can't think. Oh, Kagator and UT is also a good shot if you just want to just the simplicity of good junior wrestling.
Hmm.
Those are two of the best at it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think those two are worth the check out.
Perfect. And now, as we move forward in the tournament, is there any match before we get to the quarterfinals that
Hmm.
really, I wouldn't say stood out, but like shocked you as well?
Uh, Before we get to the quarterfinals, to say,
Yeah, so that second
well,
round.
yeah. So the second round and all that. Well, really, I wouldn't say necessarily a match that shocked me, but more so performance wise, this whole tournament, I was shocked. But Hulk did really, really good this tournament. Hulk, he had
He
like
did.
like severe injuries a few years ago. He broke his neck. He had when he was finally got his run as Dreamgate champions, his shoulders were like falling off. He's like he can't like Hulk now and Hulk when he was at his peak are two completely different wrestlers. He's totally
Right.
transformed his style that way he can continue longer. And really, I think that Dreamgate match against Yamato, because like I said, when I started watching Hulk, he's already been past those big injuries, so like he's not the same. And but like when he was during his Twin Gate runs with both Kazuma and Kai, I was just like, okay, it's fine. But the Dreamgate challenge against Yamato, I think that was the turning point for him because he's just been
Yeah.
really, really good recently. And I think throughout this whole tournament, he was just on his P's and Q's. He did fantastic, especially in the first round against Doi and the second round against Kikuta. Even the little slip ups in the Kikuta match, I think he did really, really well this entire tournament.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. This is, I won't say it's the best I ever saw him, because I think that title match was great. Uh, but it was really good to see him look as good as he did, all things considered. But now let's get to those quarterfinals I was talking about. A lot of big matches here.
Mm-hmm.
So the rundown was Jason Lee versus Hulk, Yuki Yoshioka versus Diamante, Shuji Kondo versus Kaito Ishida, and KZ versus Shun Skywalker. Lots
This
of big
was
matches.
a fantastic night. Yeah, just
Yeah.
fantastic night overall.
Mhm.
We'll get the bummer one out the way. Jason did get concussed in the match with Hulk. They
Yeah.
still were able to. He got it was a first flash, I think it was to the face. Actually, it wasn't to the. He got hit with a first flash to the back of the head, but that wasn't the one that concussed him. It was one directly to the face.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, he was winning. He was able to communicate to the ref, who communicated to Hulk, and they were able to get a roll up finish going, so he could still advance. But he did get concussed in that, which um, kind of a bummer because Jason getting to the final four was something I didn't expect, certainly.
Right.
And it's cool to see that they have that much faith in him because Jason's super,
Yeah.
super talented. It sucks that his big chance got taken away, but he's going to be, whenever he does get healed up, he's going to be fine. He's had the spotlight on him this entire year, and rightfully so.
Right. I agree. I was upset, obviously, that he couldn't wrestle that next round, get to those finals, because I think,
Yeah.
like you said, he's earned that. And obviously, when you looked at Masquerade breaking up and who was involved, he was kind of always the one with the spotlight, despite not being Coda or Shun in a way. You're right. Like those two are the
Yeah.
I won't
When
say the
everybody
chosen ones, but in a way
yeah,
they
they
are.
were chosen. They were all chosen to succeed. Jason, him and Australia were just on their own, not really chosen to succeed. And then he went to the
Mhm.
storyline where Shun claimed he was his property and every unit wanted Jason's services.
Yeah.
And that really put a big spotlight because he was the center. The Dragon Gate Korakuen, where they had the rights to negotiate with Jason Lee match, like
Yeah.
outdrew most big company Korakuens where they're
It
having
did.
title matches, and the only main attraction was where's Jason gonna go?
Right.
And that night just went perfectly. They did the singles with him and Ho Ho, of course, because they're from Hong Kong and they're close. And they had Jason kind of heal it up and kind of throw the red herring that he's probably going to choose Zebrats. And then, of course, he
Yeah.
goes to Natural Vibes in the end. He gets so far in the tournament. He's gotten the spotlight that the others had, except for he had to take a longer route to get there.
Yes. Yeah. And again, I just wish we could have saw what he could have done. And I think he'll get back to
Yeah,
getting those big matches for sure. But again, injuries are always unfortunate. So it is what it is. But would
I
have been interesting to see what he could have done
I
in
liked
those in
what
that
we
final,
got in
especially.
the end. Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
what we got in the end, especially in the finals, but for a bigger picture, which we'll get to later. But
Right. So we talk the rest of the quarterfinals now.
mhm.
Yoshioka beats Diamante. Not a big shock there. Uh, Kondo beats Ishida, and then you have KZ versus Shun. This was again a big one. Hell of a road for KZ to have to go through. Right, you got to go through Coda
Mhm.
right off the rip. Then you have this
He had
rematch
Mina Rita
from
the second
yes,
round,
right,
which
right, which
probably would have been Big Boss if Big Boss didn't get hurt.
yes, exactly, which
So
would have
he
been
was
very
already set up for a
interesting.
rough path.
Yeah, yeah, which would be that much more interesting. But now you have that rematch from day one of Kobe World last year, him and Shun going head to head. And I just remember watching this. I made sure to watch it unspoiled, and like it was like you could have sucked the air out. The air was sucked out of the room when he was pinned. For me, it was just like,
Oh
God,
yeah, you know,
man, like come on,
I
man.
woke up. Usually, results don't hinder my viewing unless it's for like certain shows. Usually,
Yeah,
I can see results and just watch a show and not be phased by it.
right. Me too. Me
Unless it's
too.
like something I'm super super excited for, like big Dragon Gate shows. Like if I'm not awake live for it, like big pay per view level shows, I'm not gonna check Twitter at all. I'm just gonna go watch it.
Right.
But I saw people were upset, and I was like, well, let me see what happened here, so I can. So whenever I saw one, Shun had not cheated that entire tournament up until that
Hmm.
point where he faced
Yeah.
KZ and had to use a chair to win. I saw that immediately, and I was like, okay, KZ's road to Kobe was not over yet. Two, when the air got sucked out of the arena, I said they know exactly what they're doing. I was like, they understand that
Yeah.
people want KZ to win. I was like, I'm not gonna jump to conclusions because there's 2 days of Kobe World. Uh, like I said, we only know the King of Eight winner is gonna get a title shot on one of the nights. We don't know about the other, so
Yeah.
I wasn't quick to grab my pitchforks like everybody else. Although last year I did do so. Um, and I also think it was vital for Shun to win as this heel character because it just
Mhm.
made him that much more of a hated character.
Absolutely.
Because the stuff he's been doing has just been more so entertaining than evil. But I
Mhm.
think with the gaslighting Daya into a title match on on a night where he has to defend two titles, winning the belts, and then I think this solidified him.
I agree, and I think Shun is so good at. I think once he became this heel and he's really gotten comfortable in it, he's really good at doing it. If that makes sense,
Oh
right?
yeah,
He's
for
really
sure,
good at being
for
a
sure.
prick, and
Hmm.
it's so much. I think it's so much better than his babyface work overall. And I've only seen the two matches really that he had the title with, and then I saw him go down insanity and so on and so forth. But
Hmm.
this this worked, right? It worked for me as someone
Yeah,
viewing because he smashes him in the head with the chair and wins, and you're like, come on, man. But that's the point, right? That's
yeah, that's the
wrestling
point.
being wrestling. So bravo to them for doing that. I just hope now they got to follow up and make it work because
You also
now
got to
you have
understand that KZ's untouchable. He can bounce back from
right,
literally any loss they give him.
yeah. Well, yeah, they
Granted,
still protected him
uh,
even.
yeah, yeah. Granted, you don't want to always do that when you have a person like that because eventually people are like, all right, he's gonna lose or whatever.
Right, right,
And that's kind of where the stage he is at now with Dreamgate title defenses. However, since it's KZ, people are gonna believe that he has a chance no matter what.
yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get to that. I poor girl. I always say this, but that Jungle Kiona range where she just
Oh yeah, for
never was
sure.
going to win. You don't want to get to that point by having them lose so many big matches, and
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
I don't
think he's
think that
there.
KZ's gonna lose a title match in Sapporo, and they're gonna fucking tell
Right?
his
Yeah.
parents to clap for him or clap for his opponent or something. So it'll be fine.
Oh man. Well, okay. Let's get to that final night now. Obviously, Jason Lee's out, so we got to do a battle royal to pick the, or not to pick, but to get the replacement contender
Yeah.
that ends up being
So
Minoura.
so the second chance battle royal was something that's been in King of Gate for a while.
Mhm.
It happened last year. That's how KZ got back into the final four because there were three blocks, and the person who won the
Right.
second chance battle royal got the fourth spot. And then the year before, there was a second chance battle royal where Doi, who was Dreamgate champion, won, and he got into the final against or the final four and was able to get to the final against Ida. So it's something that's not uncommon in Dragon Gate,
Right.
but they kind of just held on to it to reveal it at the night because they reveal the cards whenever the show starts,
Yeah.
um, which has also been a change, but I think it's worked out well.
Yeah. It
And
creates a buzz to it.
yeah, and really, this was unpredictable. Literally, anybody could have came out here and won, and
Yeah.
like you really had no clear. Like in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, KZ and Minoru seem like front runners, but also you have no idea because of
Right.
how far they got and the other people in this match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However,
I totally agree.
I do think this was perfect for Kodo to win. This and the match with Kondo, and then something at the Torimon reunion show. I'll mention whenever we finish talking about the final or whatever. Um, just really gave Koda the gear shift he needed because Minorita.
Yeah.
So Gold Class was originally supposed to be a face unit, but it just wasn't working because the Minorita thing is more of a heel shtick.
It is.
Uh,
Yeah.
and of course, that happened here where the final four. I like that Jay was in the final four. I was very happy about that. Casey, Strong Machine J, Minorita, and Minoru. Minorita. So in this battle royal, you didn't need to go over the top rope. If you went to the floor in any capacity, you're out. So Minorita, he grabbed both KZ and Jay by the waist, and he was hugging him, and his back was to the ropes. And he told Minoru, he's like, "Yo, kick my back." So they all went to the ground, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very clever. And I was like, okay, so we're starting to get that gear shift or that gear change that Kaito Ishida was referring to after they lost the Triangle Gate belts. So I was interested and already hooked immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was brilliantly done. Just watching, like you said, how they did that and kind of turning that page and making Gold Class something different. And now with Minoura in the semifinals, we have to, of course, talk Yoshioka versus Skywalker here. I thought this match was really, really good. Had that drama you wanted because obviously Shun, he is a guy
Do
that
you
is
know the connection with Skywalker and Yoshioka?
from when they did the mask stuff and the
No,
switching
no, no,
and
no. Even
changing, or
before
no,
that.
no,
So,
no, no, no.
well, it kind of does play into that. Okay, so at the end of 2019, Shin Skywalker went to Mexico because he just wasn't getting results, and he lost to
Yeah,
Ben K in a singles match at the end of the year. So he went to Mexico to find himself. And Yoshioka was struggling to find himself within Dragon Gate, and all his juniors, mainly Dragon Dia, were passing him by. And
right.
on the day he was scheduled to have a singles match with Dragon Dia, he also left and went to Mexico. And him and Shun were roommates in Mexico, and they kind of wrestled down there
Ah,
to grow together. And Shun came back at Kobe World to challenge Ida for the title. Yoshioka did not. And of course, Dia Inferno popped around that time. And the big thing heading into that mass match when Dragon Dia said, "Hey, this is Yoshioka." Shun was persistent. He was like, "No." He was like, "There is no way. I don't believe that's what he went to Mexico
yeah,
to do, and I just
right.
don't believe it." He said, "I'm starting to believe that you're going insane, Dia. I just don't know if I can trust you since you're accusing Yoshioka." And of course, in the end, it did end up being Yoshioka. So there's a lot of connections with these two.
Hmm. That only, of course, makes it even better. But I thought the match and the way we got from point A to point B of the finish was really, really good because again, Shun's that former, Bray. He's been the guy,
Dreamgate.
right? He's been Dreamgate.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been the guy already for them, but now he's in this new role as the heel, as the guy that cheated his way to get to this point, and
yeah.
it does create that uncertainty that you want in a semifinal match. And when Yoshioka wins, it's like that was great. It almost perfectly executed in a way. And with all that drama that came
Hmm.
before to get to this part in the story, it was just really, really well executed.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. I think they handled it very well. I mean, it was mostly a straight up. I mean, of course, Shin did his stuff where he would fight him on the outside and all that, but it was clean, straightforward, and Yoshioka pulling out the win was big. Uh, like I said, Yoshioka, whenever we get to the final, we're going to talk about it. He had a very, very tough route to get to the end of the tournament. Like every
He did.
other person in the tournament had at least one or two opponents where it's just like, okay, this is easy. That was not the case for Yoshioka. He
No,
had to be on his toes the entire time.
he went through the biggest hitters. I think that you could,
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure,
in
for
terms of a
sure.
lineup, he just went through them all. And now we'll talk Kondo versus Minoru here. Not a lot to the match, but again, embracing that kind of heel
Gear
route.
shift in gold class.
Yeah, which is really just an entertaining
So,
story to follow in itself. And I like
uh,
that this obviously this wasn't supposed to happen. This Coda wasn't supposed to be
yeah, it just
going
kind of
into
happened.
this originally. So it worked. It really worked to mix that in to get him to this point.
I love the Kondo just fucking yeeting Minorita. He's been waiting to do that for 2 months because on the house show loop when Gold Class first formed, Kondo's a baker and he sells his cookies at Dragon Gate shows. Minorita stole a bag and didn't pay for it, so he said he was going to eventually get him. So he threw him into a fucking post. So I think he did pretty well.
Yeah, worked out.
But yeah, this Hill thing. Kondo did not look weak at all. Yeah, he did not look weak at all. He was about to win. He was going for the King Kong layer before Minorita tripped him up, and then Minoru rolled him up with his little, I think it's called the gravel gear. I think it is, and pinned him in the middle of the ring and getting away with the cheap heel win. And I was like, wow. I said, I guess they're going all in with this, and I really didn't know if they were going all in with it till Tory reunion show, but
Yeah.
I think that the heel. I'll just go ahead and knock it out now. The heel change, or even if it's just tweener change, like say the Momo led era of QQ, where they're like half. They can be
Yeah.
faces, but they're also dickheads. I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing because Minoura, the one thing that's holding him back, he's not good at speaking on the mic at all. And he even admitted this like live in the audience. He says, "I'm not very comfortable talking." But the promo he did at the Toymon reunion show, where he basically was basically a heel promo because he was just like, because Doyle was doing his baseball character from when he was in Toymon, and then he basically was like, "Hey, playtime's over." He said, "Unlike this old has been show Toymon, Gold Class is going to heat up Dragon Gate, so keep your eyes on us." It was a very dickish promo, and he looked very confident. I think this is going to be good for Minoura since he's definitely one they want to come along. I just
Yeah.
don't think he'll get to that face. He'll get to being a good face, but most people need to go and be a great heel first before they can do that.
It's true. It's true. That's just a commonality in wrestling. But let's now, of course, we've set the final up. Let's get to the final. Yuki Yoshioka versus Kota Minoura. Of course, again, we'll repeat it here. Minoura wasn't supposed to be there, but at the same time, we talked about it earlier. He was one
It
of those
worked out.
guys you kind of thought would be there in the end. Even if he lost in the first round, he was
The
there.
thing is, the thing is, with this, I think this was best case scenario because I think
Yeah,
Yoshioka gets more from beating Minoura than he would have Jason or Kondo. I mean,
I
of course,
agree.
beating
I
Kondo is a big
totally agree.
win, and him and Jason on similar levels, so it's just like, all right, uh, Kota being here did more for Yoshioka than the other two would have.
Yeah, of course it would have been cool to see, Yoshioka and Lee there because now you're creating that guy that's going to that next step. But now you have names of beating, you beat Yamato, you beat Shun, you beat Minoura. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's incredible, right? And you have this
The
great
route going
match.
from yeah
Yeah, it's an incredible route because how do you make a star? You have them beat as many stars as
Yamato,
possible.
he beat
Yeah. Oh
both
yeah,
Twin
UT
Gate
too.
champions back to back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Diamante, Shun, UT, Yamato, Minoura. It's crazy. And you
it's
got to
a
think
it's
that
as
on the route to the
crazy of a road
finals,
you can go down.
he beat the last two Open the Dream Gate champions.
Right. Exactly. Which is just insanity to think about. And Minoura, we can all agree, is a future um Dreamgate
Oh
champion.
yeah, for
But
sure.
this was Yoshioka's time. He rose up to the occasion once again. I think he did that. Not only was he beating these big names, but he had great performances throughout the entire
Yeah.
tournament for a
If
reason.
I had to pick an MVP for the tournament, I usually
Yeah,
don't like picking winners as MVPs. I like to
but
spread
it
the
has
wealth,
to be
but
him.
it's kind of hard not to pick Yoshioka just
Right.
because he delivered every round, and it was hard to find a match where he just wasn't the highlight.
Yeah.
Um, and not only that, if you pay attention to the crowd, it's very incredible how D Courage has gained this following because
Mm-hmm.
he's in the ring with Coda. Coda has a big crowd himself, but there was literally no other like outcome that the fans wanted other than Yoshioka winning. Like Dragon
Right.
Gate is most known as the company with the largest like female following. Like if you look into the crowd, every like lady in that crowd wanted Yoshioka to win. There's Yoshioka towels, there's little dolls.
Yeah.
It was a perfect case scenario for Yoshioka to just come out the winner here.
It was. It was. And when he ultimately wins after what I thought was a great final, just the perfect way to execute it, the perfect way to, have Minoru feel like he was somehow going to steal this win because let's be honest, him getting into the
Mm-hmm.
tournament that final day is stealing it. He stole it from Kondo. He could steal it
Mm-hmm.
again. I thought it was just so well done. And at the end, if you didn't think Yoshioka was a star before, you know he is now, right? He hasn't even had that title
Oh yeah.
match yet, but he doesn't need it
If
to
you
know that he's a star.
if you think about what I said earlier about him and Shin going to Mexico because they were unhappy with their position in Dragon Gate, you think about coming back. Shun immediately became Dream Gate champion. Yoshioka,
Right.
think about it. Shun's been Dream Gate champion, Triangle Gate champion, now Twin Gate champion. Yoshioka came back. He won the Twin Gate titles, but this is his first singles achievement on his
Yeah.
own. he's now finally called up to where he's in the upper echelon of Dragon Gate with his peers.
Right. Right. It's worked out, and now we get to see that next steps, which is where we're going here. But before we go talking Kobe World and all that jazz, let's talk about this past weekend of shows.
Mm-hmm.
I know you wanted to touch on some of this. Obviously, the two excursions happening, but also the
Yeah.
retirement show as well. So, what from those shows should someone go out of their way to check out, but also notable news that came from those? Because obviously, with
So
King of Gate being over, it's now kind of the
mhm.
unloading probably for general fans as they wait for Kobe World, the heat up for that, which is of course less than 2 months away now.
All right, I forgive me because I am about to talk a lot. There's a lot I gotta get through, but
Go for it.
there wasn't a retirement show this past weekend. But if you look on Dragon Gate's Pro Wrestling, they have two different YouTube channels. Look for the Dragon Gate Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling one. Shoya Sato's retirement match is on there. It's free to
Right.
watch. They upload house show matches anytime they do them, which is a good way to get people in. But this past weekend, they had the Torimon reunion show. For those who don't
Oh,
know, Torimon
reunion,
is the
not
precursor
retirement.
to Dragon
Right.
Gate.
Yeah, I meant
Yeah,
reunion, not retirement. I
it is
didn't even notice I said that.
the precursor to Dragon Gate. It was started by Ultimo Dragon, and basically it was the spotlight for the Ultimo Dragon gym with all his trainees working there. Basically laid the floor map for what would be Dragon Gate whenever him and his partner had a falling out and started Dragon Gate. And basically, a lot of his students still are in Dragon Gate. Susumu Yokosuka, Naruki Doi, Don Fuji, Dragon Kid, just on and on and on. So they first did a reunion show 2 years ago, and basically the premise for that show was just like, if you got any connections to Torimon, please come to the show. You're welcome. We'll put you on. And it's the same here, except for
Right.
this one, they had more presence of Dragon Gate wrestlers because, of course, a lot of these people are retired, or a lot of these people um, just don't wrestle. So they kind of had to do a moderation here.
Yeah.
And the big news is, so leading up to the show, there was a tag match on the first night of King of Gate, actually. It was like Masaki Mochizuki and I think it was two other people versus a Z-Brats team, and Mochizuki won. And Hio went to go hit him with a chair, and then this rookie from the class of 2022, Masaharu Eto, stepped in and blocked the chair shot, and Mochizuki got in the ring, and he was just like, I really got to debate my career since I just got saved by a rookie right now. But he said he looked at Konda. He was like, so at the Toy Mom reunion show, I want to do M2K, but Canessa's retired. So, hey, Eto, get in the ring. Do you want to do it? Do you have sunglasses? You know, razor bike, all that. And he was like, yeah. He was like, so you'll make your debut that day. And on the KOG final night, Susumu Mochizuki, he was just like, hey, so the premise of M2K, the M2 stands for both Mochizuki's and the K is for Konda. Um, and he was just like, hey, so Eto's going to be in M2K? He said he doesn't have any connections to Torimon, and his last name doesn't start with an M. So, what's your plan here? Ultimo was kind of like, I don't care. And then Mochi was just like, he's like, trust me, it'll be fine. So the main event for the show was Agan Iso versus M2K. Agan Isu is most notorious for being the heel unit from Dragon Gate to get fired in like mass due to disorderly conduct, which was
Yeah.
Brother Yashi, Suji Kondo, Toro Owashi, and in this role, Jed Takagi, who he's basically a boxer. Um,
Hmm.
they Aganiso, they so M2K opened up the show, and Eto's decked out in M2K gear, and basically Brother Yashi's on the mic, and he was like, so why do y'all have a rookie here? This is laughable. And Mochi's just like, yo, y'all have a retired wrestler with you. This shut up. And then he was just like, do you want to know why I picked Eto? And Yashi was like, yeah, I just kind of asked. So yeah, sure. He was like, well, first of all, he's not a regular Dragon Gate rookie. Second of all, his name's not Masaharu Eto. He's my son. and he then big gas from the crowd because nobody knew, like nobody at all knew. Nobody knew Mochizuki
Yeah.
was married or anything like that. So Eto grabs the mic. He introduces himself under his real name, which is Ryoto Mochizuki. Said he was going to make his debut, which is big news. He's the
Yeah.
first wrestler, as far as second generation, from somebody who's deeply connected with the Dragon system, like Mochizuki is.
Mhm.
Of course, Mochizuki wasn't trained by Ultimo Dragon, but he's got a deep connection with Torimon and Dragon Gate.
Yeah.
And the main event happens, and Mochizuki hits the twister on Jet, and he drags Ryota Mochizuki on top of him, so Mochizuki gets the win in his first match. Then afterwards, he was just like, Masaki Mochizuki was like, "What do you think? How he did on his debut match?" And he did really good. He's very good. Of course, I believe he has a karate background from the pictures Mochizuki shared of him as a kid, so it makes a lot of sense why he is very similar to his dad and very good.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's only 22, so he's going to be around for a
Oh
while.
boy.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So afterwards, Masaki Mochizuki was just like, so we're M3K and we're not going anywhere. We're actually coming to Dragon Gate as an official unit. So kind of three Mochizukis. And Ultimo Dragon might be the dumbest person I know in wrestling today, because he goes, I don't like having three Mochizukis. So Ryoto, your new name is Mochizuki Jr. That does not fix anything.
No,
That's
not at
You
all.
still have the problem. No, you still
Yeah.
have the problem. You're an idiot, but that's fine. His reasoning was like, oh, just because I like Dory Funk Jr. I was like, all right, cool, bro. And then he also was like, oh yeah, El Hijo dos Santos coming to 2 days of Kobe World, and I was like, all right, get out the ring. um, so actually, Ryoto's undefeated since he's debuted. He won the first match, and they had a house show like 8 men against Natural Vibes. And the
Mhm.
M2K trademark was the double count out. They were a heel unit in Toymon who they wanted to send the fans home angry, so they would always finish
Yeah.
their matches with a double count out. So they got Vibes out the ring for the double count out, except for Mochi grabs his son, tosses him in the ring, and makes sure no other Vibes member gets in, so he wins via count out. And then at the Royal Sambo they had yesterday, M3K basically worked together to eliminate everybody, and then the other three members jumped over the top rope, so Mochi Jr. won. They're basically playing into the fact that he's Mochi's son. They're going to do whatever they can to succeed.
I love
But
that.
actually,
That's fantastic.
they posted, yeah, they actually posted on Twitter. So Susumu posted a picture of him holding Mochizuki Jr. when he was a kid. He was just like, "Hey, this is like we all have deep connection to him, so we're gonna try to make him succeed the most we can." So that was the highlight of the weekend. I want to say, because one, you're getting another Mochizuki around, and also he's super talented and super young, so he's going to be around for a while. That just
Yeah.
makes me even more excited for the future.
Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
and of course, another unit, which is always nice. They have, speaking of another unit, so on the day at Kobo Samba Hall, uh, so Jason Lee, uh, Funky or Jackie Funky Game, and Ho Ho Loon decided they were going to be a trio at the last Kobe Samba Hall show, and Casey was just like, "Yo, you can't leave Vibes," and he was just like, and Jackie was just like, "Oh, we're not leaving. Why?" And he was like, "So do you want Ho Ho to join?" And they were like, "Nah." And they were like, "It's not like that." And Casey was just like, "I don't understand." And then Jason just told him, "Don't think, just feel." And then so Ho Ho said he was bringing a friend to Kobe Samba Hall, and the main event was Z-Brats versus Ho Ho, his friend, and Jackie, because of course Jason is hurt, but he was there. And they were in these. I think they're like I think they're like a Chinese top. I don't know what the right term for it is, but it's like these big shirts. Uh, and anyway, they said that they kind of got in the ring and they said their name were the Kung Fu Masters.
Mhm.
And Ho Ho's friend was the third incarnation of Super Shenlong, or as people may know her, Yosuke Santa Maria. She
Yes.
was before she became Maria. There's actually three different incarnations of Super Shenlong. I think Shinobu was the first one. I might be wrong. Somebody else smarter than me can correct that. But the second one was Mandaryu before he became Problem Dragon, and then Maria was the third incarnation. And I want to say it was in Kamikaze, or I think it was Kamikaze. It might have been Aka. It's this word that starts with A. I can't pronounce, but uh, Yamato turned on that unit. It was like Shingo, Punch, Shenlong, and him. He turned the unit because he was unhappy with the progress of Punch and Shenlong. And then they had this big like mask versus. It was this big mask match, and Shenlong lost her mask and went through the phase of trying to find who she was before. Uh, to add some more lore, the Millennials came around, who were they well, technically, Ita and T Hawk trained in the dojo, and T Hawk had already wrestled in Japan for a little bit, but he went to Mexico because Ida was in Mexico, and Ida also convinced UT to not debut in Japan and come to Mexico with him to train. And they all basically stuck there in Mexico, and they were given a strong push as the Millennials as a new unit, pushing a new generation in Dragon Gate. And
Mhm.
Maria is actually a dojo mate of Ita's, and her becoming of Maria was so she could be with the man she loved, of course, being Ita, and of course that story reappeared recently. But
Yes.
yeah, she used to be Super Shenlong, so brought that character back, and they had a match against Z-Breast, and they got another big win for Ho Ho. He pinned SBK again, which is another big win for him, which is good. I
Wow.
like Ho Ho. I think he's improved a lot since coming to Dragon Gate. Uh, and basically, after the match, they kind of actually explained to KZ what they meant. They were like, so basically, the Kung Fu Masters are only going to be exclusive to the Kobe shows that are in the Kobe area because of the large Chinese population.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's not a unit that's like an actual unit that's going to be on every show. It's just in that Kobe area. And KZ's like, okay, I understand. Y'all can do that. That's cool with me. I don't have a problem with that.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Uh, and then the little bit that happened on yesterday's show was Yoshioka finally formally announced his challenge to Kai that he wants a shot at the Dreamgate Championship for winning King of Gate. And Kai said, I didn't know that you had that sort of authority for winning King of Gate. He was just like, I didn't know. He was like, you haven't even beaten me, so why should we do this? uh, but yeah, it's just setting the seeds. Daya's in a fun situation right now where he's feuding with Don Fuji because Don Fuji stole his skateboard. He pushed him off the
Yes.
skateboard and stole it. And they had a match at the Torimon reunion show where he beat him and he kept the skateboard. And Dio was like, yo, I need my skateboard back. And then Fuji was like, well, if I'm going to put the skateboard on the line, put your hair on the line. So they're going to have a hair versus skateboard match next month at Korakuen. So I think his
Incredible.
Brave Gate programs are probably on pause until after he gets done with the Don Fuji match. But, you know, that's a little bit of chaoticness that went
Yeah.
on the weekend, and of course, coming up, I think tomorrow actually, Peros defend the Triangle Gate over in Noah. I'm dreading the possibility of Stinger holding the Triangle Gate belts. I hope not. For the love of God, no. But you know,
Well, that was I think that was a great wrap up of kind of everything that's going on, and obviously the two excursions that are now happening with Fujiwara and Estrella.
uh,
Um,
yeah, they're going to Mexico. I said I was going to talk about it, and I just totally skipped over. But yeah,
where are
they're
they?
going to Mexico.
Where
So,
are they going in
huh?
Mexico? Are they going to a
Uh,
specific promotion?
No, they're going to stay at the Toymon Casa, which is
Okay.
the old dorms that the original Toymon students used to stay out. Ultimo still owns that property
Okay.
because I think he has a house in Mexico too. Uh, Ultimo's fluent. I think his wife is actually Mexican. Um,
Okay.
so he still owns that, and he decided he was going to use it again. And he actually, struck up a deal with Noah to also help bring the rookies to Mexico. Of course, Junta Miyawaki recently said he's going to Mexico. He's going
Yes.
to the Toy Casa as well. But yeah, they're staying at Ultimo's dorms, and basically they're
Cool.
just going to work in Mexico. There's no specific promotion. There'll probably be some
Okay.
indies. There's a possibility they make a AAA card since Ultimo did work on a AAA card. He could probably politic and get him on a card.
That'd be cool.
But
They do
yeah,
a lot of
there's kind
shows,
of
so it's
torn, and
possible.
yeah, it's possible. Also, I know with Mexican promotions, there's like a lot of variety. So I mean,
Yeah.
they'll get a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Uh,
Australia figured he was going. I figured he was going. Even Jay said he was the first. He was the first candidate to go to Mexico because he's still very, very
mhm.
botchy with a lot of his stuff, and he wants to be a high
Yeah,
flyer. And the best place to learn that is in Mexico. And also, he was the
right.
first character that Ultimo Dragon put together whenever he came back to Dragon Gate. So, of course, he was the first candidate. Fujiwara was a blindsided one, but also not in the grand scheme of think about Shun and Yoshioka going to Mexico and coming back and being big stars. They probably see him
Yeah,
in the similar light, so he's probably going to take the same route.
as they should,
But
I
it's just
think.
kind of odd. I,
Yeah,
but I
it
mean, to
is.
be fair, with his style, he probably is best fit in Mexico. I don't think you want to send like Ishin or
Right.
Fuda over there or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just going to come back somehow even better, which is kind of crazy to think about considering how good he already was as a rookie. But I think that's, while shocking, it's also exciting. So when he does walk
Yeah,
back
I
in,
mean
he's going to be ready.
the roots of Dragon Gate is in Torimon in Mexico, so I mean he's just learning the style still,
Yeah.
which Fujiwara is a little different because he wasn't like directly trained in the Dragon Gate dojo. He trained at the Mizunoku Pro dojo before coming over to Dragon Gate. So he's kind of ahead of the pack in that sense. That's why he's so good
Yeah.
so young.
Learning from multiple spots is never a bad thing for wrestlers, especially young wrestlers. But now that we kind of have all of that covered, thank you for doing that because
Yeah,
obviously a lot has happened since that end of King of Gate. Let's look forward to Kobe World to wrap up this show. Uh,
yeah,
Obviously, Ultimate Dragon's anniversary will be celebrated on the show, and as we can assume, Kai versus Yuki Yoshioka will at least be one of the major matches on that show. So, how do you think the card is looking, just based off of what they've started so far, the Ultimo Dragon celebration? Are you feeling good about the 2 nights once again, or are you still
uh,
kind of wait and see?
both. I don't like when but the thing is, okay, so it's different. I don't like when they do 2 nights of big shows. Like I fucking hate Wrestle Kingdom now. I will not fucking watch 2 days of Wrestle Kingdom. I just can't. The thing is with why I think it works with Dragon Gate is they don't have a lot of big events. So none of these matches get exhausted. Two, the shows
Right.
are fairly quick. So
Yes.
I think it works, but also
Hmm.
it depends on the booking really. Like I'm
Right.
waiting for there to be like a champion that goes through both days like unscathed because I think you need a variety. I think you can't like,
I agree.
oh, if they if they retain one night, they're going to lose the second, or if they win the first
Yeah.
night, they're not going to retain the second. Which I think last year we kind of broke that mold because Genki won the Brave Gate first night and then he lost to the Kagatora the next night. So
Yeah.
kind of added into that. Okay, so anything can happen across these 2 nights
Right.
because I just don't like boring patterns. I need it
Oh, I
to
agree.
feel like everybody has a chance.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Which, of course, I mean,
Yeah.
Susumu and
Because
Boss, they won both nights, but still.
I mean, for example,
Um,
like you said, New
I
Japan's done
yeah,
that in their main event, what, 3 years in a row now? The same exact sequence
yeah,
of champion wins first
same
night,
exact.
defend second night.
Yeah, that, and it's usually the same crop of guys in those
Yeah.
spots. There's never any variety
Yeah.
uh,
You don't see
until like
anyone
this year with
new.
Shingo in there.
Right.
Yeah, which is another reason I love Dragon Gate. It feels like somebody who knew is always in some sort of title picture, which is
Right.
nice. Uh, I don't like the old cliche of okay, this person's gotten to this level now they're just opening match guy, yada yada. Uh,
Hmm.
I like when they just like I like when Dragon Gate randomly pops up a Yoshida title challenge for me or just anything that's like out of the norm because I mean it keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
I think the thing with the 2 days is there's a lot of uncertainty because you don't have a lot of time from the end of King of Gate to Kobe World to build 2 nights.
Right.
Literally, we just have till the end of next month. End of next month is
Hmm.
just shows. So whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna have to do it within this month and then the first half of next month.
Yeah.
So there's no clear direction. At least last a lot of clear direction. King of Gate what was gonna happen this year, not so much.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
like I said, I only think I mean we know Yoshioka and Kai, and I think Hio and Dai is gonna be one of the Brave Gate matches.
Hmm.
Um, I the others I don't know. I mm, there's a possibility M2K gets into one of the title pictures. If they wanted, they could have. If Jason's back, they could have the Kung Fu Masters challenge for the Triangle Gate or the Twin Gate. Uh, but I don't know. See, if I had to book personally, if I had to set up 2 nights as far as for the
Hmm.
it,
Oh, you cut out. Oh boy. Oh, Xavier's gone. All right, everybody. Well, if you've been listening, he's muted now. Um, yeah, connection's gone. Well, shoot. Okay. Um, well, this is why this is the first version of this. It's okay. Uh, thank you to Xavier for talking. If he comes back, we'll not wrap this up, but it looks like he's gone. Yeah, he'll have to dip out. Maybe he can jump back in. But we were just going to finish up, obviously. And thank you for those who have listened, and thank you to those who will listen. Of course, this will be on the YouTube page at any time that you would like to check it out. This is the first episode. I don't know if I'm going to put it on podcast yet, but we'll wait and see on that. Obviously, hopefully he's back, but if it's not going to work, then that's it is what it is. But Xavi,
yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, there we go, there we go.
Oh, you
Hello.
can hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Okay. All right.
Perfect.
So I'm back in here.
There
Yep.
we go. Yep, you're good.
Oh, there we are. Let me turn my camera back
Perfect.
off. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I literally haven't moved or anything. But anyway, sorry
It's
about
weird.
that.
Yeah,
Back to
feel
what I
free
was
to
saying.
finish up
If
what
I,
you were
yeah,
planning for Kobe World.
yeah. Hate technology. Anyway, so if I had to set up things, like I said, Yoshioka and Kai's Night 1, uh, it really depends if they want to move the title to Yoshioka, because if not, I would have KZ Night 2 and have him get his moment. Uh,
Yes.
if not, then you can throw literally anybody on Night 2, really. Just anybody who you
Yeah.
want to face Yoshioka. Brave Gate, I would do Hyo, Daya, Night 1, and one that faces UT, because you could have either one of those two beat Daya, literally either
Mm-hmm.
one. Or if Jason's back, you could slide him in one of the slots. Literally, there's so many people who could win the Brave Gate title in that division right now that you can do anything.
Right.
Triangle Gate, honestly, you know what? So with Twin Gate, we'll do Twin Gate first. So we'll do Shun and Diamante versus Jason and somebody from the Kung Fu Masters. You could do Jason and Ho Ho, Jason and Jackie, anybody, because I think that the stories connect for them to do that, to revisit Jason versus Shun for the Twin Gate
Mm-hmm.
belts. And then the winner of that, night two, I would go either Ishida and Minoura or Minarita and Minoura.
Mm.
And then if they don't do one of the gold class teams there, they could do it for one of the Triangle Gate nights, but I wouldn't, because I would do Peros versus some challenger team first night. Doesn't matter who. You could do Big Boss and then Jay and say Kame. Say they do Ho Ho and Jason for the Twin Gate. They can do Kame, Big Boss, and Jay for the Triangle Gate on the first night.
Mm-hmm.
And then second night, I would do all three Mochizukis and have them win the titles. That's what
Hell
I
yeah,
would do.
that would be sweet. I'd love that. I like that card. I
Uh,
hope your cards work out that way.
if it doesn't, I mean, I'm not gonna complain because I feel like there's. I think that's the thing with Dragon Gate. What makes me so excited is there's so many different possibilities.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
there's no telling what they can do. They've showed it's very Dragon Gate in the second half of 2021 and Dragon Gate now seem like they're not the same company because too much predictability in the second half, not so much
Yeah,
this year.
right. Which is
Like they could pump a
I
rookie out of the dojo tomorrow and push him and make him Dream Gate champion. And just be like, oh,
yeah, if you can go far into unpredictability, your promotion's just that much more exciting. It's just how it always is. That's how wrestling works. If you're not predictable, sometimes if you're predictable it can work out, but when you're not predictable like this, it really makes the product overall just so exciting. And I think that's why I'm so interested in Dragon Gate because obviously I'm still learning along the way,
mm-hmm.
but I'm asking you questions, and sometimes it's just like, oh well, so much of this is not um, not predictable, so it's just fun to be along for the ride, and like Kobe World's so exciting, and I can't wait for those two shows because of that idea. We're less than 2 months out, like we said, and while you're saying this is what the card might look like, it's like, oh well, I really don't know. It's like maybe,
Yeah,
hopefully,
it's too unpredictable.
yeah, which is great, which
Um,
is great.
you know, I'll put you in the hot seat for a bit. So, in your brief time of watching,
Yeah.
uh, what's been your favorite unit? What's been a few of your favorite matches, and who are a few people that you're excited for the future of Dragon Gate? Because of course, there's obviously a lot of veterans right now who they're great
Yeah.
right now, but they're probably not going to factor into the future for too long.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so back to the unit first. It's funny because I said at the beginning Masquerade was like the one, and then they just disbanded pretty much as soon as I was really getting into it. So funny in that respect. I think Natural Vibes. I just
Okay,
I love the majority of their unit, anyways. Right? Like I just
it's too
love
well
what.
constructed.
Yeah,
It's
and
too
I know
well like
like
okay. So one thing with units in Dragon Gate, they're always changing. There's always going to be
right.
disbandments. There are always going to be new ones forming. It happens
Yeah.
like every other week. It's just their blueprint to keep things fresh. Natural Vibes has went through so many changes this year. Of course, losing
Yeah.
Genki and Susumu, who were the first two members who wanted to help Casey reach the next level. And then you take a look around Casey. He's now the eldest member of Natural Vibes,
Mhm.
and he's got all this talent. He can help elevate.
Yeah.
It's just that team is just unfair, especially if you look from a babyface standpoint with UT, KZ, Jason, and Kame. They're probably like four of the five best underdogs in the company. So it's like
Right.
this team's overpowered.
It is. It is. But I think that's why it's so much fun too. And I mean, it kind of translates into like those matches that have stood out to me. We talked about, and I haven't went back into the archives as much as I want to yet, but I will. But KZ versus Shum was the one that made me want to watch Dragon Gate because of how great that was. The Kobe World one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year alone, I mean, I've watched a lot of the King of Gate, but I thought, was it Kai versus Susumu at Dead or
Yeah,
Alive?
yeah,
That was fantastic. Like I didn't fully know the story yet, but
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I of course read into it afterward, and I felt that without even knowing. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I knew what the stipulation was if he lost, which was enough, right? It was enough for me to
Mm-hmm.
really grasp onto that. And that was one of those matches that really stood out to me because, Kai's been an interesting champion. You and me have talked about this, but that was the match that I was like, yeah, man, he was
He
perfect for
needed
this
that
role.
great match.
Yeah, and
He
he had
needed
it.
that great match because this reign has been solid, and I really, really like the Big Boss challenge, but
Yeah.
he needed that great match, and it was this. It
Yeah.
might not be the best match all year, but it's the most polarizing match all year. If you take into fact the match, the aftermath,
Yeah.
it's just too much.
Yeah. It was a match that knocked a lot in different directions, and I really, really enjoyed that one. Obviously, KZ versus Minoru was fantastic. Yoshioka versus Yamato, which we talked about as well. And I really liked Dia's two title matches from Dead or Alive as well. I thought
Hmm.
those he really stands out to me as just like he's so good. He's and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
like everyone knows that, but he's so good. He's like the almost like an ultimate baby face that you just never want to boo. And you just told me he's trying to get his skateboard back, and that's a match that they're gonna work, and his hair's on the line, and it's just really entertaining to me. And talking about wrestlers that I'm really enjoying, KZ's obviously like the layup there, but I really
Hmm.
like Shun in this current role. I think he's fantastic at it. I
Hmm.
love Jason Lee. I've always liked Jason Lee. Back to the masquerade thing, I really enjoyed
Hmm.
him in that group. So watching his story unfold and him join Natural Vibes, I was like, damn, that's a good spot for him. Um, I said Daya. The fun part about this roster to me is there's so many likable people that yeah, the bigger names are going to be moving on eventually, but they're in the process of just making more big names, and you have a Yoshioka win King of Gate, right? And that's like instantly like, okay, so now I see that they have this new star, and
And just the dojo in this era has just
yeah,
pumped out so many great talents that
right,
it's like they'll be fine for the future for years to come
yeah,
because these
yeah,
rookies are coming left and right and they're being great.
yeah. And this reminds me
I
of the
mean, you take a look at Kikuta, SBK, and Kame. They debuted just like 2 years ago.
right, right. SBK is great. Um, Another match that you made me think of though while talking about that is Diamante versus Fujiwara. I really enjoyed
Oh
that
yeah,
one. That was did it have like Fujiwara is going to be fantastic, and obviously we've talked about him at length on this show, but there's just so many
Diamante is
people I
a
can name.
hidden gem.
I love
I
Diamante.
like.
I love
I
that
see
guy.
Diamante is probably my favorite gaijin in Japan.
He's
He's
so
a hidden
clean
gem.
when he wrestles.
Yeah,
Like I've never seen
and you gotta think
someone.
he's like 6 foot, but he like dwarfs
Yeah,
the entire
he
roster.
does.
And you take that and the fact he's over here doing flawless springboards just to get in the ring and do backflips, like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. He was one that I really enjoyed. I don't know why he wears the pirate shirt. It always makes me laugh.
It's I don't know. It's his big match shirt.
But the fact that he's able to do all the things that he does in that is like fantastic. And yeah, he's another one that I just love watching because he makes it look so easy. Uh, Again, I could go down, this entire roster, but it's so much fun watching these guys, and they always put in such great effort in the matches that I watch that it's hard
Hmm.
to not cheer for them and just appreciate what they're doing. And you know that's why I wanted to talk about this, because obviously you and me have talked about it, not on air or anything. We just, chat about it.
Hmm.
But being able to talk with you this way, it only helps me understand it more. And, as we get closer to Kobe World, it's really exciting. It's a really exciting time for Dragon Gate. And if anyone wants to jump in now, it's a good time.
It's the best time.
Yeah,
Or just wait until the actual show. And
right. Which is
if
what I did
what I would
last
do
year.
is, yeah, I would wait till next month, and that way you have that whole month to so you can pay that full month. Also, yen is down a lot right now. Like when I first started, it was like $16 a month, but now it's like 13 and below. It's just the value of yen is declining, so it's getting cheaper. Uh,
Yeah.
and you can take that whole month to catch up to speed of everything and then watch it all culminate at Kobe World and then kind of make your decision from there, because it charges you every month on the day you sign up, which if you really wanted to, you could probably wait till later in the month till Kobe World sign up
Yeah.
that day and then wait to get billed the next and see if you want to renew it.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
unlike the other Japanese streaming services
yeah.
because they
Um,
usually just bill you on the first day of the month, but Dragon Gates does not,
yeah. And
which is great.
all you need to know about this, yeah, all you need to know about the streaming service is they got a lot of content on there. They're uploading some Toymon. Now they have this series called Prime Zone, which was a alternate universe, but still somewhat canon show that
Yeah,
Dragon Gate used to do in this little studio, which is a fun watch. It's just filled with fun times and all that. So how the shows usually work is they're up for a week after they have happened, and then once that week hits, they're taken down, edited, and re-uploaded as a part of the Infinity series later on in the future. So they always have that content they can put out. Um, Other than that, it's a really easy streaming service to get through. It's built on the same database that the Stardom World site is built on, which is crazy because they said they can't go live on their uh, database,
yeah,
but it's the same
yeah,
one as Dragon Gates, and they go live all the
yeah,
time. Um, but yeah, that's all there is to it,
yeah.
really. I have, like I said, me and Scott talk about a lot of wrestling. This is probably the most on anything I've done, the most seriously I've discussed wrestling. Because I mean, with whenever I'm talking it with Beth, we're just kind of fucking around and cracking jokes. Because I mean, it's having fun. Um, but yeah, that and I'm just like, all right, people want me to come on, I'll be a little serious there. But I have a lot of high hopes for Dragon Gate in the future. However, there's one thing that I want anything more than anything in the world, even more than Casey winning Dreamgate. For the love of God, please come home, Akira Tozawa. For the love of God, please, somebody get this to Vince McMahon. Somebody get this to Tozawa. Give it to Tamina. Give it to whoever you need. Please come home.
I think that's the perfect way to end this. I think
Yes.
more than the KZ run, more than anything, Kira Tozawa, please come home. I think that's the perfect way to
You
end
can get
this.
your bro. Shima's gone. You can get your Dreamgate run. Come on. We're
Yeah,
having a good time
I
over
would
here.
love him to
You
come
can bring
back. I think
Tamina too.
everyone.
That's fine. You bring her here. We'll send Tamina over to fucking Sendai Girls. We'll do something. We'll get it going.
Oh man, oh fantastic. Well, Xavier, thanks for coming on.
Oh
Obviously,
no, anytime.
people could see you can follow him at a dumb millennial on Twitter if you want to see him, sing the
I'm not a
praises of
millennial.
House
That
of
is also a Dragon
Torture.
Gate thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you want to sing the praises of House of Torture and Dragon Gate and Yujiro specifically, obviously. Come on now. If
Right.
you don't know him by now, then you will know him very soon. But thank you for
Yeah.
coming on. This is a great way to start this off, and I appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem.